girls and handsome boys of Vikidyl Models. How are you today? I hope you're doing fine. I'm your teacher Han. I'm happy to welcome you to episode 6 of Christian Religious Knowledge. Episode 6 of Christian Religious Knowledge. Hope you haven't forgotten what we did in episode 5 of Christian Religious Knowledge. In episode 5 of Christian Religious Knowledge, we talked about idleness and importance of work. Idleness and importance of work. And I hope you haven't forgotten what idleness means. Staying without doing anything, not being occupied, just being busy without doing anything. And at the same time, I hope you have not forgotten the importance of work. That when you work, you can take care of yourself. When you work, you can take care of others. When you work, you can contribute to the work of God and the work of charity. When you work, you have self-confidence and you have self-esteem. When you work, you'll be seen as being important in the society than someone who is not working. And I hope you haven't forgotten our memory verse that said, if you're not ready to work, then you shouldn't eat. This is episode 6. And in episode 6, we'll be looking at how Christianity came into Nigeria. How did we start? How did we become Christians in Nigeria? It's going to be a topic that will take for some weeks. But for today, we just get started. Basic 5 Christian Religious Knowledge, episode 6. And our topic is the coming of Christianity in Nigeria. The coming of Christianity in Nigeria. At the end of the lesson, the pupil should be able to narrate how Christianity came into Nigeria. Describe life in Nigeria before the coming of the Christianity. How Christianity came into Nigeria. Christianity spread into Nigeria from Europe to America. From Europe to America in 1485, John Alphonso visited Benin. He was the first white man to visit Nigeria, but was not successful because of the difficulties they faced. It wasn't easy for the blacks to accept him and his team. They were already used to worshipping idols, and so it was so strange to the black man when the white race came. And then in 1515, Portugal sent some Catholic missionaries to Benin. They preached the gospel, then built a church, but were driven out by the town idol priest in 1520. These are the Portuguese priests baptizing people at the time they came. Then in the 19th century, various Christian missionaries came to Nigeria and set up stations in towns like the Abeokuta, Badagry, Onitsha, Calabar and Eket. From these places, Christianity spread into Nigeria as a whole. These were the towns that had water. If you look at this town, most of them have water link, and these people used water as a means of transportation, and so wherever the water linked them, they were able to go to such places. And they started they preached the gospel in those places. Try to, just like in the days of Saul, they were preaching in the olden days, even in Romans. They preached in those places. They were accepted by some people, but some people, no, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that easy for them. And so, after a while, the chief priest said, no. People stopped going to sacrifice. He lost his work because, going to make sacrifice, you have to pay the chief priest. But now people weren't going to pay him anymore. So he had to get up, discourage the people, especially the rulers, and then the Portuguese were chased away from this town in the year we've heard. You can see the white men there, but some black children there came to try transforming. In fact, started like a school. What they're putting on is like saying their school uniform. And they were so proud, people that could send their children to them were top rulers, people that knew that were ruling, people that were in higher authority. These were the kind of people that were able to send their children to them. Now, life in Nigeria before the coming of Christianity. Number one, the people could not read nor write. People could not read. At the time, before the white people came, there was no English language. Everyone were going about their businesses, farming, and trading. They were all looking at how they can, make more money. They live in ignorance. They could not read nor write. Number two, they worship idols. They worship idols, just like we heard in the former slide. The reason why the man had to the chief priest had to send them away, because they were no more patronizing him. They worship idols and make human sacrifices, which people can even be killed and offered to the idols. Sometimes they were offered to the idols alive. Number three, twins and triplets were killed as they were seen as abomination. That the black felt if you give birth to a set of twin or triplets, they're evil children. So these children will be thrown into the evil forest. We'll look at this specifically in one of this learning. Number four, there were no schools, colleges, hospitals, and clinics, as the people were used to herbs. There were no schools, colleges, hospitals, and clinics, only the herbalist and the diviners took care of the people's health. There was slave trade. There was slave trade in which people were sold like articles of trade. In summary, explain the coming of Christianity in Nigeria. So I take you back very quickly that Christianity spread to Nigeria from Europe and America. The Portuguese were the first to come to Nigeria, and they were traders. And then in 1485, John Alphonso came to Nigeria and visited Benin. He was the first white man to visit Nigeria. He did not succeed in his missionary work because of the difficulties him and his team first. And then in 1515, Portugal sent some Roman Catholic missionaries to Benin. They preached the gospel and built a church, but in 1520 they were driven out of the town by the priest of idols. The missionaries moved to Warri, where they had very little success. Christianity could not last long because there were no men to keep it working. It was in the 19th century that various Christian missionaries came to Nigeria and set up stations in towns like Abeokuta, Badagry, Onitsha, Calabar and Eket. And from these places, Christianity spread into the country as a whole. Explain life in Nigeria before the coming of Christianity. Okay, I'll still like to take you back again. Nigerians worship idols and offer sacrifices to them. People lived in ignorance and fear. Nobody could read and write. Twins and triplets were killed at birth as some they saw them as abomination. There were no schools, colleges, hospitals, and clinics. Only the herbalists and the diviners took care of people's health. There were slave trade, which people were sold like article of trade. And there were often human sacrifices in which people were killed and offered to idols. And sometimes people were offered to the idols alive. Now your assignment. Write briefly the life of the people in Nigeria before the coming of Christianity. God bless you as you do this. We've come to the end of a lesson today on Christian Religious Knowledge, episode 6. And I hope you learned something. This is a very interesting topic and I wouldn't like you to miss the next class, because we keep flowing from this time which the Christianity entered and the things those people did. We will even have to take one after the other, the missionaries, some important missionaries that came to Nigeria. God bless you and stay safe.